Alright, what's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the TMossBoss Show. And in today's episode, so it looks like with this Texas shooting, people are trying to blame video games. I don't know why video games always gets brought up in these conversations because, like, I'm trying to think, because mass shootings, let's see, like, the first, like, ever mass shooting, first ever mass shooting. Brief history of mass shootings. Disturbing and senseless shootings have occurred since 1891. And I'm saying, like, that's my thing is this. When you got I do, like, in a sense blame, like, the internet, but it's more so like history though. Like, kids, my thing is this: if a kid isn't right, like, wired the right way, the way that ain't gonna put other people's lives in danger, stuff like mass shootings and all that stuff, like, overall saying, like, if kids wasn't introduced into certain aspects of history, because that's usually where it stems from, that's usually where it comes from. It's not a kid playing Grand Theft Auto, it's not a kid playing Call of Duty. You play video games to let off steam. You play video games to feel relaxed, calm, cool, collected. It's like, it's a therapeutic thing. You're not playing, because my thing is this: when I was a kid, I've said this before, I think I've done an episode like this before, but I'm only doing this now, to once again defend video games and crap. Like, even though I made trash talk video games, still, like, I'm just gonna say this because I don't think I've talked on this particular story, but there was a story where a rapper had lost his life because of a game of NBA 2K. You're literally playing basketball. So if a person isn't, my thing is this: if a person isn't wired the right way and then they play video games ain't got nothing to do with it. It has absolutely nothing to do, because that NBA 2K is a game that's literally it's made for children. It's made for anybody. Anybody can play the game, but it doesn't have no violence. It's literally playing basketball. Is playing basketball bad? No. But people have literally lost their life over that video game. So that's why I'm not hearing it with the whole, like, video game talk, because I'm like, fam, there's people that have lost their life playing video games, and the majority of the times, like, you're playing video games, you're playing that stuff with your friends, whether it's friends that you've made online or friends that you got going to school with you and stuff. And then on top of that, the crazy thing is that most likely a good portion of those kids that went to that Texas school, most likely, if they blame any video game title out there, I guarantee at least one of the kids that goes to that school plays that video game. I'm saying, like, and here's the thing: this is how I was raised when it came to playing, like, rated M video games and all that stuff. Because I played rated M video games when I was young. Like, when I very first got into video games, those was, like, one of the very, like, rated M games was one of the first few, like, video games given to me. I remember my uncle, he gave me 007, and I believe 007 is a rated M game. But if you guys know of the story of 007, he's going around, unless I don't know the story, maybe I got the story wrong, but as I remember, 007, the guy that plays as 007, he's a good guy, right? I would imagine, yeah, like, if my whole life I thought he was the good guy and he turns out to be a villain, then I'm like, somebody misled me. I thought he was a good guy. I don't know. I'm like, I was rooting for him the whole time, and turns out I was rooting for the wrong guy. But if you know the story and all that stuff behind, because, like, if you blame Call of Duty, you're all like, oh, Call of Duty got too much violence and it got too much shooting and all that stuff. That's literally what the game. It's a military game. All right, it's like a military arcade game, but it's still, at the end of the day, a military game. So, like, you can't make no military game without, unless you're like, if there's some other jobs in the military that doesn't require combat, but that's usually what people focus on. They focus on the combat. They focus on that aspect of like military games and stuff. Yes, there are military games out there, I believe, where you can be a medic and all that other stuff, but majority of the military games out there, it's based off of combat. So like, and here's the thing, like they'll have it where you'll play as the United States. They have it where you play as like other military branches out there, and they sometimes, I think video games, they got it where you play as terrorists. But at the end of the day, you are playing a video game, all right? It's not a reality. It's not real life. It is a video game. It is a virtual reality. It ain't a real reality. It's a virtual reality. Now, I remember growing up when I got rated M games, especially when I got Grand Theft Auto. When I remember how I heard about Grand Theft Auto. San Andreas was coming out. I remember my mom, me and her, we had went to Target. I seen San Andreas in the display case, and I was like, oh, Mom, can I get that? All my friends at school been talking about it, but because it was, I think games like back then was like $49.99, like the brand new games and stuff. So yeah, she was just like, no, that costs too much, but there's the one that's like half the price. We could get that one. And I like not realizing like all the games is like kind of alike in things. Like there's like some slight differences with them, but I wanted San Andreas, but I was like, okay, I guess I'll settle with 3. So I remember I got 3. Crazy. Same day, my dad got me Vice Cities. And so, yeah, I was sitting there like going back and forth playing both of those games. And yeah, you're running over people, you're shooting, you're killing, you're doing a bunch of crazy things in there. But I always remember my parents will always tell me the stuff that you do in those video games, you cannot do that stuff in real life. Because most likely they were probably hearing stories, and I'll get to that, like the whole hearing story stuff. But it's like they're most likely hearing stories of people going on these like crazy shootings and stuff, going out in public, going crazy and things. And the number one reason, or the main thing that you can find out about that stuff and how you could get a kid more involved in the reality and stop trying to hide them from the reality, but watching the news. I feel like if kids watch the news, or if they had teachers, I'm saying like, because if the parents ain't going to do it, the teachers have to. Somebody has to teach these kids from right and wrong. But I know one thing for sure. It's like when I bring kids into this world, and if they get into video games, I'm giving them the same talk my parents gave me when I was playing rated M video games. You cannot, unless it's a video game where it's like a sport type game, but if it involves NT form of killing, no, bruh, no, you cannot do that stuff in real life. It's like, unless you're defending yourself and you literally have no choice, then that's a completely different story. But if you are like going around running down people, shooting and killing, keep that in the game. I'll play, because no, that's even more so. It's like, how we found out about, like, or how my parents would tell me that stuff, is that they would be sitting down playing the game with me. We would be doing some of the most craziest things, but we would look at each other and be like, yeah, we know we can't do this in real life. Because that's the thing where it's like a lot of people seem to forget and don't understand. It's like a video game ain't just this big area of just running around, gunning down people, running over people, doing all these crazy, wild, and outlandish things. Even in the video games, there is punishment for so, for an example, in the last Grand Theft Auto game, Grand Theft Auto 5, for those that didn't play it, as soon as you commit a crime in that game, cops is already on you, shooting you. So like they make the cops much more tougher and difficult in these games. Probably has a lot to do with what's going on in the world today, but I'm saying like they make it where there's punishments in the game too. It's not like they're telling, or even because it's like they're saying like the game is rated for a mature audience, and for those that don't, it's like for a mature audience that can fully understand like what this game is about. I feel like that mature doesn't even mean that the game is rated for people of an older age. It's like, if you are mature enough to play this game, then play it. If you can know the difference from right and wrong, then this game is for you. I feel like that's overall what gaming developers and just all that stuff, like what they promote. They somewhat try to make it into a reality. You know, like if you see a lot of video games today, like yes, there are a lot of arcade games, but there are games out there where they try to make like they try to put as much reality as they can in the game. So that's why, and it's not like they're promoting like, oh yeah, you know, when you play this game, make sure you go out and do this stuff in real life. There has never been once when a video, because you guarantee and I promise you, if there was ever a time where a gaming developer promoted, hey, the stuff that you do in our video game, you can very well do that stuff in real life, meaning shooting and killing and running over people and doing a bunch of other crazy wild things, they will get shut down instantly. There would be no questions about it. They would get shut down instantly. There's never been a time where a video game company has promoted that. So you cannot blame these guys for literally, all these guys is doing is working. That's it. They're trying to make money. Just like with the parents, you know, of these kids. Your job. They got a job too. They're trying to make money. They're just trying to survive in this world. And if them being a gaming developer, if that's how they can survive, then fam, let them survive that way. But I'm saying it's like, and here's the thing where it's like there's like shooting, there's like all forms of like shooting in video games. I think there's even like rated E games out there where it requires like some sort of shooting and stuff. Like I'm saying, it's like there's a lot of different you know, like just shooting games out there and stuff. You can't blame all of them. Cause if that's the case where we're gonna start blaming the video games, we gotta start blaming the movies. We gotta start blaming music. We gotta start blaming TV shows, YouTube videos, the YouTubers behind the YouTube videos. You see how just unnecessary all of that stuff is? Because if there was ever a time where I was playing a video game and somebody was all like, my kid is on this platform, why are you playing this game? I'm like, fam, why are you not controlling what your kid watches? Why are you not like telling them the difference between right and wrong? You can't blame me for your parenting. That is between you and your kid. So how do I fall in line with all of this? That's why like with that whole conversation, I just remember like back when I was a kid and I think it was when San Andreas was coming out, but they were doing like this whole segment on the news talking about how like that game is bad, and they were showing like clips of Grand Theft Auto 3 and stuff. And they were like, I think they were showing clips of all the other different games, and they were talking about like how bad it is, how it has like a lot of cursing and violence and all that stuff. And it's like, well, the game is titled Grand Theft Auto. Like, it's literally titled after a crime, like after a criminal charge. Like, I'm saying, it's like, what else can you call the game? Like, they literally built that whole saga, that whole video game series off of that name. So I'm saying, like, at the end of the day, if your kid asks for that game, you have a choice on to say, no, you're too young to play it, or you can play this game, but I'm going to tell you right now, you cannot do what they do in that game. Always and forever in life, keep that stuff in the game. Because I'm saying, fam, there's been times where my own mom, I remember at one point in time, like me and her, we was always playing Grand Theft Auto. We was always playing, like, you guys would probably find that so hard to believe, but yes, my mom was a Grand Theft Auto player. She played that. I remember she played Saints Row 2. She played, Midnight Club 2. Yeah, she was fam. I remember there was a time when we were playing Grand Theft Auto Vice Cities and she bumped into a AI or NPC in the game, and they said something. I think they called her an idiot or something, and she asked me like, how do you switch through the weapons? She, I kid you not, had switched to a bat and got the swinging on this guy. I think she connected. Guy took off running down the street. She's, like chasing after this guy. But I'm saying, like, that's what, fam, I don't even think, I know I had to been going around chasing down, shooting all that other wild stuff in the game. But it's not like I don't even do that anymore. I remember when Grand Theft Auto 4 had came, that was like the last Grand Theft Auto game she had played. But I remember, like, I was at that time, like, by that time, I was doing the missions. I wasn't, like, running over people, going crazy and all that. Because me, I was driving, fam. I remember when I played the older Grand Theft Autos, I was driving on sidewalks. So, no, I was going around doing some crazy things in that game. But no, my mom, she was sitting there shooting at cop cars in the game. Like, she shot at a cop car talking about, oh, I thought it was a taxi. I'm like, fam, that is a white car. It says police on the side. The lights is flashing. That is not a taxi cab. When has a taxi cab ever been that color and it said police on the side of it? Never. So, no, it's just, and people, if there's going to be anybody that's going to be responding to me talking about your mom is not setting a good example, it's like, fam, I'm not going out doing no crazy and wild stuff. I still to this day, and I got into video games like over 20 years ago, over 20 years later, with literally an arsenal of just so many mature games, I have yet to commit any of the crimes that I've done in video games in real life. So shout out to my parents, because I'm saying, like, if you actually communicate, and that's the number one thing that parents need to start doing with their kids. Communicate. Talk. Like, tell them about these things. Show them these things. Have them watch documentaries. Have them watch the news. Have them watch based on a true story movies about, things like this. But don't be that parent where you don't talk to them, and then when some stuff like this goes down, you're all like, oh, I gotta blame the video games. And it's like, there's video games out there where it's like, the majority of the video games out there, you're playing as the good guy. Yeah, and Grand Theft Auto, you were playing as, like, professional, like, bank robbers and all that stuff. But if you actually sit down and pay attention to the story, then you're like, huh, wow, like, this seems like this is some real life stuff. Call of Duty. I'm saying, like, yeah, but it's like and if they're gonna blame, like, Call of Duty, like Call of Duty Warzone or something, you're literally being shot at too. So I'm saying it's like the game, all those games, if that's what they're about is violence, fam, so be it. It's like, I just think that it's far too late to start blaming these companies, because it's like, bro, like, these are multi-million-dollar companies and you're trying to blame them? Like, no, fam, no, I ain't even hearing that. So anyways, there's a lot more things that we can blame in this world. I feel like when kids is going around studying history, going out, being able to buy guns and being, being able to go, and like to acquire a gun of some sort of way and stuff. I'm like, fam, whether you're 18, younger, or older, it's like, there should be a lot more going on with that gun stuff. It's like, yeah, let's blame that. Let's blame, like, how mental illness is really taking over right now, and there's people just going crazy for no reason. No reason at all. I'm saying, like, in any Grand Theft Auto game I played, in any Call of Duty game I've played, there's never been a time where they promoted, oh, shoot your grandmother in the face, drive down to this school, and shoot a bunch of innocent kids and teachers. I've never played the game where they've done no stuff like that. Never. In the time where I did play a game where it required it was like you went to school and all that stuff, they wasn't having it where you was going around killing people in the game. Yeah, you was going around. It was made by the same company that did Grand Theft Auto, but they made sure of it that no kids will be killed. So even they're like, okay, well, we can't be doing no crazy or wild stuff in this game. Like, yeah, crazy and wild things is going to obviously happen in the game because it's Rockstar Games and that's usually what they're known for making. But they made sure of it that they wasn't having it where no kids was being killed or any of that stuff. So that's why I'm like, when people going around blaming video games, I'm like, are you playing them? Are you paying attention to the stuff that goes on? Or are you just seeing that it's a rated M game with guns all over the cover and stuff, and then you hear gunshots coming from your kid's TV and things, and it's like, nah, fam, I'm not hearing that. And it's like, you don't even sit down and take the time to play. You don't even have to do that. Fam, just watch somebody play it on YouTube. Shoot, I'm about to play almost not even almost. I set a goal for myself on Twitch where I'm going to stream every Call of Duty video game, play the story, the campaign, all that crap, and just beat them all. So I'm saying, like, I've beaten Modern Warfare 1, 2, 3. I just started the last Modern Warfare. I'm saying, like, watch me play the game or watch others play the game. Do whatever, but I'm saying, it's like, watch these games before you just start blaming them for some stuff that they literally have no control over. They have no control over your kids. You got control over your kids. So don't start blaming people. They ain't got no control over them. You got control over them. You birthed them. You are raising them. Like, act like a parent. Don't make it seem like that Rockstar Games, Activision, and all these other companies are your kids as parents. You are your kids as parents. So, anyways, and that being said, I will talk to y'all later. Thank you guys for watching and or listening. Stay tuned for the next episode, and peace.